And we're live. What is good, YouTube? This is your boys back again from Unapologetically Men. It is so good to be back. I got my co-host with me, Mr.
Lando in the building, y'all. Happy
Lando
New
in the
Year.
building. Happy New Year. And I am your host, Max, aka Maximilian. And man, we're back again. And we've been out, you know what I'm saying, for New Year's, for Christmas, just enjoying the families. How was your vacation, Lando?
Man, it was quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was quiet. Just, had some content food eating
Man, I know, right?
and just keeping laid back. Just enter into the new year nice and quiet.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. That's how I like it. That's how I like to hear it. Man, so this video, well, I said this cast tonight is properly titled "Don't Call It a Comeback." Not primarily, particularly directed at us for getting back to you guys, but Mr. Lando, you want to describe why we top titled this show, this title
Well,
for tonight?
yeah, Max and I were talking and we kind of came up with the discussion of recovering from narcissistic women.
Mm.
Just the effects of PTBD or post traumatic bitch disorder.
Right.
You
That's
know,
that's the new term for it now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just discussing what post traumatic bitch disorder inflicts on men and how, and just in general, like what men have done
Hmm.
to recover from those things. I mean, there's stories out there where men go through a bad divorce or a bad relationship or whatever, kids involved, whatever it might
Hmm.
be, and then somehow they find new life or they reinvent themselves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because there are some horrific experiences where there's a lot of men that actually take their lives because they can't see tomorrow. They
Right.
can't see past the situation that they've been in. And we all know that, when men go through things, women will look at it like it's just some temporary, short-term, momentary experience. But
Yeah.
as men, those things can last for years for us because we're the ones bearing the weight of the afflictions of being victimized by women
You,
like
and you know what I just thought of? It's like, do they say, do they term that midlife crisis? You know how that point in a man's life they call it midlife crisis.
that. It's a shaming
I'm
tactic.
starting to think it's not. It has something to do with just being
It's a
sucked
whole life thing.
dry. Yeah, I just think it has something to do with being sucked dry. Because you see a lot of men, we hit that point and it's like looking at who we with, and they're probably sucking us all kind of which ways and just running all over that man. And he
You,
could
you
be
you ever hear it where a woman is told that she's going through a midlife crisis?
no, you don't.
No, because it's a shaming tactic. Women don't want to see men flourish,
Right,
emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever.
right.
You know what I mean? So it's like when a man actually awakens or reawakens, should I say, and
Hmm.
finds himself, oh, he's having a midlife crisis.
Hmm.
Like, what? You don't want to see that? You see that man smile when he probably hasn't smiled since he can even remember.
Right, and that's what dealing with a woman that has narcissistic behavior.
Hmm.
That's what it does to you. It like drains you dry and removes parts of you. Like you get lost. You
You
become
forget,
like a shell of a man.
yeah, you forget who you are, where you came from. It's like you're thrown out of an airlock of a spaceship, and you just don't know which way is up.
Right.
You know,
And you see why some of these men, what I'm saying, they just end themselves, But we're talking about today, we're talking about how to overcome that.
right, right, right. Um, for the people out there that's just tuning in, we're talking about post traumatic bitch disorder.
Hmm.
Just recovering from a narcissistic woman, whether it be in a relationship or um, a friendship. If you're thinking that it's actually possible to be friends with a woman like that.
Right.
Um,
Oh God.
but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
But just in general, and Max and I was just talking about the different levels of recovery from that, whether it be if you're a young man or if you're an older man. And I was thinking like Generally at our age, for some people, whether you're in your late 30s, early 40s, some men coming out of a situation might feel like their best years are behind them,
Hmm.
because their social market value at that point is really dependent on their socioeconomic status.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so if you're at like so, you're wondering, okay, how can I get back out there and socialize and feel confident about myself?
Right.
But then you hear about stories about guys that are even way older than that. I'm talking like 50 and 60 and 70, and they're actually reborn. You know what I mean? I heard one story about this guy. He's 70, right? And he was
Hmm.
telling his story about back when he was 40. He went through a nasty divorce and it just had him feeling like he don't know where to go. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
And
Doing
what kind of things did he do to kind of find himself?
well, he got into developing his body.
Hmm.
And it's like this man is 70, and then from the neck down, he looks like he's 25.
Nice.
Just rippling muscles. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's
Right.
like you see his face, it's like, okay, that's somebody's great granddad.
Okay.
But then you take off his shirt, it's like, what?
Right. Swole dude.
Yeah, it's just like, are you Carl Weathers or something? Like, good God.
So he just put all his energy into a
He put
physique.
all his energy into his physique, and then
Nice.
and then he actually got good enough to where somebody was like, you know what? You look good enough to compete with the young guys. And then it's
Dang.
like he didn't think about that. And he was like, "Oh, really? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that." So he's been in competitions, and this, like I said, this man is 70, and
Hmm.
he's living like he's still got another 30 years after that.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice.
I mean, if you just think about that, if you get to the age of 50 and you have the mindset to where it's like, "Hey, I'm feeling good enough to live another half a century," and then
Right.
you do it, it takes a tremendous amount of resolve, conviction, and confidence to mentally be there. You know what I mean?
Right. Because you just came from emptiness.
Right.
You came from zero, and now you shooting, you batting at 100. You know what I'm saying? You're in the alpha mode. You're in your alpha frame of mind,
Hmm.
and that's
I mean,
and
I
I
think it goes way beyond alpha. I mean,
yeah.
in my opinion, when it comes to like the red pill groups and stuff like that, being like quote unquote alpha, this is just my personal opinion, but I think
Hmm.
it's thinking dramatically small because the term alpha is used in relation to how they can influence women.
Mm.
And women are a very small
I think
part of
it's bigger than
society.
that though. I think it expands beyond the whole
Mhm.
women thing. I mean, you could be alpha in your career. You could be alpha in your talent, like whatever that might be. You know what I'm saying? You can be alpha guitar players. You know what I'm saying? If you it and like for me, it's not so much it has nothing to do with women at all. But for me, it's like if I'm gonna put energy into something, then I'm gonna put it energy into it like I am the best at it. So if like if I'm gonna be racing or if I'm gonna be playing instruments, then I'm gonna play it like I'm the greatest, you know what I'm saying, the greatest player ever. And I just even if I suck, you know what I'm saying, even if I suck, I'm happy knowing that I'm putting my energy in something that I love to do. And
Right.
that to me is what alpha is. Now it has fuck women. It ain't got shit to do with women. The bitches will suck your ass dry. That has nothing to do with fucking women. I mean,
Sure.
you just
I mean,
fucking be
I agree.
yeah.
I agree. I mean, to me, it's like when you describe it like that, it sounds more like just what we all
It's
know
like
as
it's
dumb
like being
activity.
it's like Zen. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
Zen in Asian culture. It's like being one with yourself. That's kind of like how I feel about the word alpha.
Right.
Like it just it like if I look at Zen, I look at alpha. That's like the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
when I brought it up, I was talking just in the context of how it's used generally.
Right, right, right. In our community, as far as like in interrelationships or the intergender dynamics, when you talk of alpha, it's all about women. Like, so it's all
Right.
about women.
I mean, me personally, I just don't use the term because it also implies that you're trying to be the leader of a pack or something.
Hmm.
And I just describe myself as more or less a lone wolf,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
protecting my own
Yeah.
skin.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about too, man. That I'm. I mean, you can be a lone wolf and be the you are you're the if you're a lone wolf, you're the leader of your own pack. Like you're the pack,
Hmm.
and that's what I'm saying. It's like you're the pack, and you walk around like the pack. You know what I'm saying? Like you're the strength of the whole pack, just because you're by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
That to me is alpha.
And, but I know we're straying away from our topic, but
Yeah, a little bit, a little
is
bit.
there something you wanted to? Nah, we, ladies and gentlemen, we tend to do this. I mean, because we don't, none of this is scripted. We just do it off the cuff, and we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of throw out there what we're thinking, the
Right,
energy that we got, and we just kind of go with it.
right. Oh yeah. That's how I like to do it, man.
So, I
Um,
mean, what are your thoughts in regards to recovering from a narcissistic woman? It's like, to tell our audience, what do you think would be good motivators to like get a man out of the doldrums? You know what I mean?
to retrace his steps, kind of like look at what you were before you was sucked dry, like but before you ever even met that woman. Find out what drove you to be who you were. So you know if you were into RC planes when you was a young kid, you most likely have not picked up an RC plane in decades because she's done sucked that shit dry from you. So go back and play with some RC planes. If you find out that you, as an adult, you don't like playing with RC planes, then you can put it aside because it's now something you have decided to do. You know what I'm saying? So then you kind of just go through and retrace your steps and then pick up what you enjoyed about the old you.
So, in other words, just basically getting it back to basics.
Yeah, getting it back to basics. Like you cut all that shit away and get to the basics and find out who made you. Like who are you? And
Right.
when you find out who you are, and then you mix who you are with the knowledge that you gain from who you are today, woo, that's how I feel, man. That's how I run. That's why I stay happy.
And that's a good approach to take. And I
Yeah,
know there's some men out there that might be listening to this and they're in the middle of some horrific shit
yeah,
and you're thinking, well, that's easier said than done. Of course, we know that. We
right.
definitely know that. But like I said earlier, it takes an extreme amount of resolve and determination.
Mhm,
It takes some serious will. So that means first you gotta conquer yourself.
mhm,
You gotta like stand and look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I feel like shit. I feel like I can't see the light in my world,
mhm.
but I gotta get out of this.
Right,
You know what I mean? and
right.
and and you just got to force it. I mean, me, like, I know that I've had experiences to where I had to like force myself to enjoy the things that I know I like doing, but because of where I was at,
Yeah.
it was hard to even just do that.
Oh yeah,
But
definitely.
it's all about the consistency, and men
Mhm.
understand consistency. So it's like the more you do something like exercising, the easier it gets,
Yep.
and before long you'll be back on the saddle. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You'll be turning those wrenches or building things or crafting or whatever it is that you know
Fabricating.
that you're good at doing.
Yep.
Even if you're not like a hands-on type person, you might be a man that just enjoys helping people, using your energy out there to make the world around you a better place.
Mhm.
So if you could put yourself back in that space of doing that, it might take your mind off of what has happened, even for a few
Right.
moments.
Right. Right. You just put your energy into that zone and you stay in that zone. You
Yep.
stay in that zone and by the time you realize it, you have already crossed the path and onto the other side.
And I've heard it said many times, the best revenge you can take on a person that has tried to destroy you is to live a successful life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When they see that they can
150%.
destroy you and you're actually doing twice as good as you were
Mhm.
before them,
Mhm.
that's all you need.
That's it. That's all you need to do. You don't have to do there's no there's no better revenge than that.
Hmm.
None.
And don't think of it for the purpose of getting revenge. In fact, you got to try with all your might to totally forget about that person,
True that. True that.
because they might be so far gone being narcissistic
Hmm.
that it won't even register to them that you're doing better. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like with narcissistic people, with some of them, it's nothing personal what they do. It's just a means to an end for their own sustenance.
Right.
You know, you're their narcissistic supply. You're basically their food. They
Right.
only see you as something to gratify them, and
Hmm.
that's it.
Right.
Your pain doesn't matter. They'll do the same thing to anybody else if they can get something out of it.
Like I said, they just suck you dry.
Yeah,
Suck you
I mean,
dry.
my opinion, narcissistic people are just soulless individuals. You
It's
know,
terrible, man. It's terrible.
they
I
just walk around looking to see who they can destroy, and it doesn't even bother them.
no, and the
They
gaslighting
have
is just
no feeling
ridiculous.
about it.
The gaslighting is simply ridiculous.
They're
Yeah.
just soulless individuals, and
Yeah.
it's like they to me they just seem like the type of person that if you drop dead right in front of them, they'd be like, "Well, it doesn't bother me."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
Or
it
no,
doesn't.
or no, or more like they try to figure out a way to benefit from your death.
Right, right.
That's more like they're gonna be sad, but it's more like they trying to find a way to benefit from your death after that point.
Oh, dude, I doubt they'd even be sad. I think they would continue to look at it like you're still inconveniencing them in some way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Probably.
So, I mean, but that's why it's so important to really focus on you and getting back your humanity and your ability to sense things. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I know I've been in places to where I bought brand new cars
Mhm.
and wasn't excited about it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because of the space I was in my life.
Man, that's tough.
And yeah, I mean that's just rough when you get in a 2000 whatever it is and don't
Yeah.
nobody got it and you're like, hmm, well it smells nice, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Because I know before I've experienced my situations, I would get in. I remember one time I was just renting a vehicle nobody had, and
Mhm.
I got in that bad boy like I just won the lottery. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
woo! But it's like after I had went through my season of stuff,
Mhm.
it's like a lot of stuff was burned away, and I was like, man, I got to get that back. I got to figure that out, and it's a journey.
Yeah, right on, brother. Well, that's our show for today, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any ladies out there. But
Oh,
fellas,
I'm pretty sure ladies are watching. I
yeah,
mean,
I think we had one commenter one time.
yeah, I mean,
But
'cause they get curious.
yeah, oh yeah. They try
I
to see where we at. They try to see
think
they coming for us. Trust me, they coming for us, dude.
in
They
my opinion, there's very few where they honestly want to learn, and then
mm,
there's a bunch where they only listen so they can be prepared to respond.
yeah, dude. That's 99.9% of
Yeah.
them. That's just what's gonna happen. But anyhow, that's our show for today. I want to say thank you again for you beautiful people out there sticking around and listening to us two guys ramble.
Yep.
Hopefully we drop some knowledge for you today. Hopefully if you in that position, what I'm saying, keep your head up. What I'm saying, strive and look forward to the future. Just do what you need to do, man, and hopefully something in our talk had sparked a little nugget in you to figure that option out and what that is for you. So this your
Absolutely.
boy, this your boy Max, aka Maximilian, and I got my co-host with me.
Lando is out the building now.
Peace.